Hey, family, welcome to the Hub. So today I have Dominique Brownes, actor and filmmaker from Toronto, Canada. Welcome, Dominique.
Hi. Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. How are you
Oh, no
today?
problem. So Dominique is a new Clubhouse friend, and I decided to have her on the show because, she has a lot to share. She's been through some things, and I thought that you guys would really resonate with her story. So Dominique, go ahead, share with us, because we're nosy, a little bit about your love journey.
Yes. Um, I feel like I've been very lucky. My parents were together for 43 years before my mom passed away,
Wow.
and I've always been like the hopeless romantic. I just love love. I want to be loved. I want to find my Prince Charming, and it just doesn't really happen. I'm still waiting. And at this
Mhm.
point in my life, I'm 40 years old, and it's like I've been through it all. And I've had like different phases. I feel like at some point, like when you're 40, I feel dating is so much different than when you're 20. In my
Yeah.
20, I could go out and I would be like, oh yeah, so how many numbers am I gonna get tonight? Like I would just be so excited. But like, I would have fun dating. And I went through a phase where it's basically, like when you're young, I feel like I was attracted to a bad boy, like the guy that's typically super ambitious, driven, successful, very good looking, but kind of self centered and a little bit of an
Hey.
a-hole, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know exactly what was happening at that point, but like, I feel like maybe I needed some kind of validation. It would be like, oh my gosh, I got to talk to him, or he's giving me a little bit of his time. And it'd be like, those guys would be like really busy. And it'd be like, oh yeah, like, you should feel very lucky, very privileged. I'm giving you some of my time, but I'm so busy and I'm talking to her and I'm talking to her and I'm talking to her. And in my mind, I'd be like, oh my gosh, he's giving, I get a little bit of piece of his time. It's so cool. But, went over that phase. That was a long time ago.
Mhm.
And then I went through a phase where I was born and raised in Montreal, right? That's where all my friends and family are. And I feel like dating when you're in a familiar environment is different. At some point, you're
Mm.
like, I've seen everybody. Like I feel like everybody know each other. I
Mhm.
moved to Vancouver and I stayed there for 4 years. And they were like, I didn't understand the dating scene over there. I feel like each city has its own kind of like dating scene and trends and dynamics. And when I was over there, I kid you not, I was celibate for 3 years. Like
Mm.
nothing was happening. I
Oh,
turned
so it
30.
wasn't on purpose? It was just
Yeah.
like, there's just
Yeah.
nobody.
Like I feel like at first I was just like, no, let me just take a little bit of a pause. And then
Mm.
there was nobody around. Like there was just no one. And I was just like, well, I might as well keep this going. I'm gonna wait for my future husband or my next boo or whatever. And then I moved to Toronto and I was just like, okay, that's it. I think I've learned the lesson. I really was trying to like focus on myself. And I feel like when you take sex out of the equation, it
Mhm.
just, like it you see everything. You see
Yeah,
when guys are
that's
trying to get in your
that's
pants
a good
right
thought. Mhm.
away. like you see through a lot of things. You got a clear mind. Like I feel like so I like that experience. I learned a lot about myself. And then I was just like, okay, I learned my value. I learned everything. Let's just get back in the market. And it was just like more happening. There were more people in Toronto, obviously, where I am today. Guys would approach me, like, because over there, didn't like, it was just, it was there, it was dry, right? There's nothing
Yeah.
happening. So, yeah, I got back into the market. And then the latest trend was like, my other pattern was like in that later stage of my life was where I kind of attracted men that were dealing with some mental health issues. Like I had one that had depression and another one that had also depression and was dealing with, suicidal thoughts. It was very
And
heavy.
this
And
is all in Vancouver?
this is in Toronto.
Toronto. Okay.
Um, and it was kind of like heavy. And I was just trying to figure out like what is going on? What is happening with me? Right? What
Yeah.
is and Well, my father was really like, like the type of person that would help anybody and everybody and always, believe in everybody's potential, right? So I
Oh,
feel like kind of like maybe I took a little bit of that on
yeah.
where
In your
I'm just
dating
like,
life. Mm-hmm.
and being these men's, like I would just really pour myself into the relationship, like motivating them, supporting them, and really like try to be there for them. But it's just like at the end of the day, if somebody is not willing to take a few steps or to take some action to help themselves, there's nothing you could do. So
Yeah.
I've moved out of that phase and I'm
Okay.
just waiting for my Prince Charming. I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
You
But
might
like
win.
I'm like super excited because I mean I feel like I've done the work. I've read all those self-help books, all
Mm-hmm.
those books, all of them. Okay. And then I like to like listen and watch different matchmakers and dating coaches, like listen to what they have to say. I like to hear different perspectives and like I'll try to apply that to my life. And I feel like right now like I just want to be like the best version of myself. I want
Right.
to be like the best partner ever for when I meet my future husband. Every time I step out of my house, my apartment, I'm like, "Oh, well, maybe today's the day where I meet my future." Like I'm just so excited, but like sometimes I'm like, okay, this is kind of silly, like it's just, but at the same time I don't care. Like I'm just like, it could be anytime, it could be anywhere. Like I'm really, especially now, like we've been on lockdown for like over a year. Like it's
Yeah.
really hard. I'm, on those online dating apps, trying my very best, and not that successful, but it's just like it's kind of hard, but I feel like I'm just not going to give up. I don't want to really not lower my standards. My standards have changed. Like my standards when I was 20 years old
Yeah.
and versus now, like they're totally different. But I feel like I've been very self-aware and able to kind of like pinpoint what I really want,
Mm-hmm.
what do I really need, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is necessary for me to be compatible with this future person, this future husband.
Nice. Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you've evolved over time, right? So you were attracting the projects, which I know many many professional women do, right? It's like oh, I believe in his potential, and that potential
Mm.
hasn't come, isn't coming. What's going on? The person that's just into themselves and like, you should be happy to be in my presence. You've been able to say, okay, well, now I'm doing the work. I've done the work. I continue to do the work to expect that love is coming to me. So I feel like you're on a good path. So how can I best support you? What's your question?
My question is, you know what? Sometimes I feel like I'm not sure if it's like a growing trend or I don't know. I feel like I'm meeting, no, I can say I'm meeting a lot. Like some men I have encountered, not all of them, this trend is like they want to be friends. They want to
Mm,
start on the friendship, as a foundation. They really want to build from there. Like, I
yeah.
want you to know. So, I really, yes, of course, I want marriage in the long term, but like, I just want to start off as friends so that we can really build this friendship, this strong foundation. And I'm like, I'm in my mind, I'm just like, I'm looking for a husband. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't, and I feel like I understand. I love the fact that I think that my future husband should be my best friend.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I want to be romantically interested in you. I want to be sexually attracted to you. So I'm not gonna, usually my friends, I'm not sexually attracted to them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like that's two completely different things. I'm hearing a lot of women, especially in my age, like I don't want to waste time. Like I
Right.
want to, make that known, but like not in a desperate kind of way, but like, why would I want to go on 4 dates with someone who doesn't really know, or who's like, that's a different category. But sometimes they're like, oh, I'm just going with the flow. I'm not sure. Or if I see that right away that they're not sure, like, I don't want to think again, my 25-year-old self where maybe he's gonna change his mind or whatever. And I totally understand the friendship kind of thing. Yes, let's be but like, I don't want to be homie with you. Like, should I, like, weed these guys out? Like, who, like, or
This
and
is
move on to the next?
this is a good question. All right, Dominique. So I often say it's important for you to be friends first with the person that you should marry. Now, as someone who is 40 and up, you're like, wait, I have enough friends.
Mhm.
Like, I have all the friends that I need. I'm not really looking for new friends. But the thing is that when you start to put into this is what I usually tell my clients is that you want to look at someone and say, can I kick it with this person?
Mhm.
Which literally is, can this person be my friend? Do I enjoy their company? So I don't think that's a bad place to start, especially when they say they would like to be married. See, that's the second part of it. The
Mhm.
one that wants to be friends and they don't know if they want to be married, yeah, weed them out. The one that wants to start as friends but can see marriage in their future is open to marriage. I don't think we weed them out just yet, but we keep them in the rotation. So what does that mean? We do not make them the only person that we're hanging out with, right? Because if you want to build a friendship, that's going to take some time. But in the meantime, I'm going to date several people. I didn't say sleep with, right? So I'm going to date several people to get to know them. And the person I enjoy the most in terms of time with, that's the person I'll hone in on, right? And then we could have further conversation of, where is this going? What are we doing? But sometimes that takes the pressure off the situation when you're like, okay, let's be friends, which just means let's see if we enjoy each other's company without having to put sex on the table, right? So are you attracted to them? That's something that comes up while spending time and having conversation, friend or not, right? So you could see if, okay, is there something here that gets me excited to see them or to talk to them without, laying out what all the future plans are? Because when we think about it, when you meet someone brand new for the first time, it's hard to say, oh, I want to spend my entire future with you. I just want to get to know who you are. Right. So that kind of helps to take off the pressure. So my caveat to these guys is one, okay, friends, but can you see, is marriage something you want for yourself? It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be me, but is that something that you want? Nah, I'm not really into marriage. Oh, it's just a piece of paper. Okay, well maybe I don't need to be friends with you. But something that's something I would like, depending on the situation. All right, so, you get to see if this is someone you like to spend time with. Period. And if you don't, you weed them out. It's also the thing of, and this is to everyone listening as well, is sometimes we want to wait to be chosen, right? It's like a part of us want that with that first set of guys, right? It's like, oh, I want this guy to choose me and, I'm lucky for him to choose me. But a part of it is you choosing them. So
Yeah.
we have to look at, okay, I know he wants to spend time with me, but is it someone I want to spend time with? Is it someone that I'm interested in? Do I like their company? Engaging from that. And as that evolves, then to say, okay, well, what is your intention? Because I'm here with the intention of courting to marriage or, committed relationship to marriage or, that is where I see myself. So if that's not a part of your intention after hanging out a couple times, like, okay, well, maybe this isn't going to work, but it really is on a case by case. But the first place to be is, are you open to marriage? Okay, I don't mind spending time with someone who's open to marriage just to see if we even mesh, if we even click, because we don't need to be committed to anybody really, who's really not about what we see as a long-term vision.
So, um, in this friendship kind of space that we spend to get to know each other, like, are we like, can we make out? Because I wouldn't make out with my friends. Like,
Right.
no, we just
Yeah.
we're just hanging
So
out.
so so that's when it gets a little iffy, right? So it just depends on how many frogs you want to be kissing at the same time, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the only thing. So let's say you have four guys that you're getting to know, right? So then if you're making out with all of them, then you start to feel weird. right? You're like, I don't know. So then you make out with one and then not the other three. But so then since you're making out with him, you spend more time with him and you're still not sure if he's really the best. But since you started to get physical with him, you spend more time and you focus more on him. Right. So I would just say get to know some folks. Right. And then if things start to become physical, start to ask yourself, well, is he really deserving or was I just in the heat of the moment? Right. Like, is this person really the person I want to be getting intimate with? Or is there someone else here that I would rather? Because, I feel like one of those bachelorette shows or the bachelor shows, they're making out with everybody. I'm like, how do you like
Everybody.
clear your mind with all of this? Right. So I'm literally saying, if you want to be friends, cool. But that means that we're just friends. And so we could go miniature golf, we could get some tea, we could kiki, but all the physical stuff that comes more with more intention there, right? And if it evolves to that, that's for you to reassess, okay, well, who's in the running here? Who's really somebody that I want to move forward with? And what are they saying?
Mhm.
Listening to what they're saying. Oh, well, hey, buddy, hey, friend, because a guy will sleep with his friends, right? Like, and say, well, I told you we were friends, right? So my invitation to you is before you have sex with anyone, make sure you know where you stand, right?
Okay.
Because just statistics show that when you have sex with someone that you haven't had the conversation with, like, what are we doing? The next day, you might say, oh, well, we're in a relationship. He might say, nothing's changed since yesterday, right? So it's really being able to say, okay, well, this is just something physical, which someone always ends up catching more feelings, right? Or, this is something that I see a future with and I want to keep moving. So it really is just having that conversation to put you in a better standing, whatever it might be. If it's a one night thing, if it's a 10-night thing, whatever it is, but really having those conversations as you see the relationship, the friendship progressing, like, hey, I'm having a great time with you. Oh, me too. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. And then let him bring up the exclusive conversation. And if you see that, it's been a minute and there's no exclusivity in this conversation, then it's for you to think about, okay, well, is this the right person for me? Since he's has no time frame, he has no intention, then maybe this isn't the person, even though I enjoy their time. And you could have that conversation and say, I want you to be happy and I want to be happy too. And we've spent a great amount of time together and I've been having a great time, but I really want someone who wants to claim me,
Yeah.
and I wish you the best.
That is really good. What you just said that. Yeah. I like that part.
Period. Right? I wish you the best. And if they say, oh, no, wait, okay, well, what you got on mind? Right? If they
Mhm.
say, okay, no problem, then like, oh, no biggie. The main part is to detach our feelings of self worth in this process, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes we feel like, oh, well, he didn't choose me. So that has a bearing on who I am as a woman, as a person in this world. It doesn't, right? Like it's just like a casting call, right? So you're an actor in a movie and they have a specific character in mind. And yes, you may change their minds into oh, well, maybe we could shift it for her. But the majority of the time, they have their own specific idea of what this character is. And it's nothing against you. It's like, all right, next.
Mhm.
No, she's not, she's too tall. She's too skinny. She's too fat. She's too brown. She's too light. She's too, whatever, and it's like you've developed a thick skin being an actor in a casting call. But for some reason, when it comes to dating and someone says, no, thank you, it's like, oh, right? And
That's
we have
fun.
this whole meltdown of why didn't he choose me? Listen, we were just not the lead character for that role. And that's okay, right? You're casting for your movie in life. And you have to figure out if this person deserves a leading role, if they deserve an extra role, or if they decide to be in the parking lot, right? Like,
Right.
serving the chicken. So so we have to decide that. So it's really taking that power back to say, okay, well, huh, he hasn't been consistent. He hasn't called when he should. He hasn't set up dates. So I don't know if he deserves a leading role because he hasn't shown the true interest that my future husband should show. Right.
Mhm.
But if he is consistent in all those things, and then he's still having the friend conversation, then still pay attention to that to say, okay, well, after 2 months, to say, okay, well, what's your intention here? I love spending time with you. You obviously love spending time with me. What's your intention? Oh, just to get to know you. Okay. One more month passes. Hey, it's been so great getting to know you, but I definitely am over 40. You know my intentions of marriage. And I know it's tough to make a decision if you want to marry me or not after 3 months. I get that. But exclusivity is something that is necessary for me. Period.
Period. Yeah.
Period. Was that helpful, Dominique?
Yeah, I love it. I feel like now I'm gonna be, because I used to like cringe every time I heard a man say, "No, I want to be friends first." I was just like, I'm not wasting. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste time making new friends. I have enough friends, and that would piss me off every time
Yeah.
I would hear that, because I was just like, why can't they just be like super straightforward and be super clear about what they want? If they're looking
Yeah.
for a wife, they're looking for a wife. They're not looking for a friend. But
Hmm.
now I think I'm gonna have to be more open. So to just kind of like expand and be open to the idea of like having friends in the roster.
On the roster. And I know dating can be tough, right? You're busy, getting to know more than one person, but that's also the issue, right? We kind of commit to one person for 6 to 10 to a year. And it's like, why are we committing to this person when all they did was say hello, right? They've shown us nothing. So it really is to be like, okay, well, I'm getting to know several people then. No problem. Yeah, you could be a friend. I'm friends with several people. Okay. Just understand I don't kiss my friends. I don't have sex with my friends. And if you're good with that, then yeah, sure, we could be friends. Now, if he's like, oh no, what's up with that? Oh, so then you're looking for friends with benefits. That's a different category.
Hmm.
That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah, I love
Right?
it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Dominique. So tell people, how can they find you?
Well, you can definitely find me on social media. Instagram is where I spend most of my time besides Clubhouse. The handle is the same. It's DEE, B as in baby, Browns, Brownes. That is my handle on Instagram and Clubhouse. You can find me there, or you can go to dominiquebrownes.com and find some more
I
information
love
there.
it. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I'm 100% sure that it definitely helps someone listening in. And if you're listening in and love this episode, please do leave us 5 stars, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Dee. And for all those listening in, keep loving, keep laughing, keep living. Have a great one.